I think the first card in a reading can often be the kind of like weight or the kind of messages overall that are coming through for the month. So it tends to still say to us similar messages as when it is upright, but it has sort of more of a message to pass along, that it reminds us that any situation that seems to be trapping us is an illusion, that we have options and that we can get out of anything that we feel we're trapped in or is unbalanced, and that help is always available as well. Now, if you go down that column, you see underneath it 5 obstacles and challenges, and he's walking directly to the reversed devil. So some of you may feel as if you are stuck in a situation, or if there is something going on that you can't control, or someone is overpowering you or creating the problems. In reality, it's important to look from within and to not panic about things and to not be full of fear and to not allow that feeling or the thoughts of being trapped and stuck to take ride over everything else. There is always a way out. Sometimes it is not necessarily on your own. Sometimes you need to have a help system in place. For some of you, it may be mentors, or it may be psychology, counselling, or it could be friends or support mechanisms within your family or neighbourhood. It could be someone at work that you can go to and approach that is removed from the situation that might be happening. But know that these obstacles are always able to be worked through eventually and overcome. One of the most important sayings you can use for yourself when you are ever in times of anxiety or fear is the following. You say to yourself, "This will not remain. Nothing stays the same. Change is always occurring." So even if you feel as though you are in a place where you might be stuck in something, it cannot remain that way forever. It will evolve and it will move. So the same messages for the 5 of Wands. Obstacles and challenges, they actually promote us, they push us forward, they challenge us, they give us more impetus to create or resolve something. They often push us to our more creative resources, and we come up with ideas and ways around these situations. So another way to look at any challenges or obstacles or something that you're feeling disempowered with is that they can be resolved and that you can find the answers. So you push yourself, you gain more insight, you take yourself to a higher place of learning. You understand more, you gain more strength from it. And that card, the 5 of Wands there, is often around when we see things to do with our creative side or our career sector. So some of you may even be feeling as though you are blocked at the moment, as though you have a writer's block, literally, as though your creative source or passion has been, just in a black hole. And your bottom card down here again, it's so beautiful. It says, have faith. It says, stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others. See the light in the world. And that's also about humanity and benevolence, so that goodness is around and positivity is around. So even though it started off kind of with the devil reversed and the 5 of Pentacles there, the 5 of Wands, you've got this beautiful optimism and light and powerful passion in that card at the bottom. So it kind of reinforces all of the positive energies of life and tells you to focus on that as you break out of anything that is holding you back or keeping you down. We come to this next one, and we still see a little bit of this going on with you. Right through the reading, there's this kind of L-shaped angle, and in fact, even through here, this whole middle row tells us that things are on your mind, that you're in a position where you need to make some changes. There are some things in your life that you're not particularly happy with at the moment, and a lot of them could revolve around your career or work or your creative resources. Some of them may be to do with your emotional state and your physical body as well, but we'll work through that as we keep going. The Three of Wands at the top often talks about a person who is looking into the future, trying to decide where their career options might be going. If you're a person who is no longer in the working sector of your life, remember that this also encompasses your passions in life or your hobbies. Sometimes this can be about your path, like, do I move to a different state? Do I go move to be closer to my family or friends? Or do I take up a new hobby? It can also include all of those areas. Now, it appears that it's really creating a little bit of conflict for you in your mind. So a lot of you are pondering quite deeply about this potential new path that you want to head down. And for those of you in the career sector, it could be well about your working life. You might be questioning, have I done enough? Have I gone down the right path that I intended to? Is the career choice I'm looking at the right one for me? Is the job I'm in satisfying, or is it the right job? A lot of these questions could be coming around. So this is the Two of Wands, and it is often about saying, gosh, do I take A or B here? Some of you may be being offered a job unexpectedly, or not quite what you wanted, and it is causing a little bit of conflict about stay or go, stay or go. That's very much the feeling I'm getting with your reading. You're wanting to make some changes, but perhaps it's not quite the way you thought it would be, or it's not going in the direction you wanted, or it's not looking like the outcome. I think you have to spend a little bit more time seeking to find out. You know, it's like that saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Sometimes the offers we get given to us may not necessarily be what we initially thought we would get or deserve, but by taking a step forward, you're getting there in the end. You know, if we think about trying to climb a mountain, for instance, if we stood at the bottom of the mountain and looked up at the top, we'd go, oh my God, how do I get up there? So rather than doing that, you stand at the bottom and you just take one step after another. And by the time before you know it, you're halfway up the mountain and you think, wow, okay, that was all right. And a little while later, you'll get to the top and look back and go, hell, I didn't even really notice I was making this amazing ascent in life, this wonderful challenge, and I've completed it. So by removing the anticipation or the worry about how to do it or how to get to the top, you just start the journey anyhow. You start at the bottom and don't look too far ahead. And that's another cautionary thing about learning to be in the moment and having mindfulness. And that's what this card is telling us about. Don't let too many thoughts panic you or cause mental conflict. And don't let things in your life that you think you're trapped in, don't let them take over, because there is always a way out of everything. So we come here to White Eagle, the ancestor spirit, and it says, connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. So it would appear that even for some of you, maybe there are issues to do with family hereditary lines. This could be health. For some of you, it is health. You know, we have familiar DNA problems that traverse our family lines, and these can be things like cancer or heart-related diseases. They can be thyroid. They can be things like kidney disease, as well as diabetes, epilepsy. You know, it's a vast array of diseases that can be passed through the family lineage. There are also things like skin diseases such as psoriasis, eczema, lung diseases, many things. So some of you might be working through the emotional trauma of these, or you might be seeing other members of your family being affected by this. It's not necessarily that they are removable or that they can be treated and removed. Some of you may be living with these type of patterns, but connecting with them and just accepting them and understanding them, and also knowing that other people suffer from the same conditions might be really helpful. You can support each other. Also, there is definitely the message that if there has been family sorrow or bereavement or anger or aggression or falling out over generations, or even between, siblings, family members like cousins, aunts, uncles, or your grandparents. Know that this is a time when you can connect, especially with passed over ones, and they are there wishing to kind of create a healing pattern. So if any of you had lost family members, any of them, before you had reconciled any pain or grief, this is a time, when I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, around the Easter time, when there is great love in the atmosphere. There's great love surrounding earth and white light protection. This is a time when you can go to your own meditation states and connect with your deceased loved ones, or even people that have caused you grief or pain, who have passed over, and see if a healing energy can take place. So there's a lot of power in this bottom card down here, and it does talk to you both about the passed over life of people gone by, and also the living descendants around you, and how to sort of have an emotional healing and a greater connection with them. We come to this third column and we see the Hermit and then the Balance card. So we see the Balance card, which is the Justice card. Now, the Justice card is often known as the Karmic card, and it represents quite often Libran energy. The Hermit card is very much about going within one's own mind, again, so very much illuminating the mind, to find out what your path is, why you are feeling the way you do at the moment. What is it that's creating your desire to inquire? Why are you questioning things? How do you feel as though you're not fitting into something? So the Hermit tells us to spend time really going into those questions in life and trying to meditate with ourselves primarily to find the answers. And often when you spend quiet time alone, you realign your own integrity value system and your own values. When we're very young and we're brought up under the guidance of parents or caregivers, and often extra belief systems such as religious indoctrinations, our integrity values are very forced upon us by their values. So as we grow into young people, teenagers, and then into young adults, and then into adults, we start to have our own integrity values come to the surface. And this is often the times when we feel like the Hermit, because we are a little bit jumbled up. We can't quite make sense of what we believed we are meant to act as, but how we feel we really want to be. And that's basically what the Hermit is doing. It's coming to you at this time in life to sort of say, listen to your inner voice, listen to how you really want to live your life, and listen to the wisdom that contains. And then the card beneath it is saying, when you do that, you will bring about some balance in your life. And the balance is your balance, not necessarily anyone else's. And it's karmic balance. So it's tying together past lives and this one, and all the values and associations you want. The spiritual white light surrounding the angel there is very much about the spiritual energy and ethers that we can't see around us, but that they exist. So this is you could tell it was going to be a very deep and meaningful reading because of the cards that came out and the placements of them. These two in particular are very, very much about you and how you feel and what you think, and a connection to your past, present, and future, and bringing everything into alignment and into balance. Now, this card can sometimes turn up too when we see things like going to a legal institution, such as a court or a hearing. Sometimes this can be to do with family issues, such as hearing about family disputes or custody rights over children. Some of these obstacles and challenges and mental conflict, imbalance and conflict and defeat, and the Ace of Swords could all be interrelating. And that is why I said in the beginning, the cards are not set this month. They're very, very mutable, and they can be roaming around anywhere. They can interconnect with anything. So if any of you have got court appearances to go to, or there are custody battles, or there are relationship issues, or business issues where things are dissolving, the balance card can often turn out in your favour. It can often say that this cycle is about to come to a completion and generally in your favour, or at least it will be weighted in your favour because this is trying to regain balance, this card. So it can turn up when things like divorce are present, as I said, custody cases, family court hearings, even if you are going to court over a fine, or if you have something against you by the law. Any of these things could be appearing right now. The charity card beneath says prayer and contemplation, and it says connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive. So again, this card takes us back to the Hermit a little bit, and it's saying if you ask what path you're meant to be on, or if you ask what's happening in your life, or if you ask for help, you will receive some answers. But we generally only receive things when we are listening. And we generally only are listening when we're in states like meditation. And that's why the Hermit has that whole message through about meditation. So down here, charity is a wonderful giver of answers quite often. So it's quite a nice column again, the way it's dealing with asking, giving and receiving one way or another, and finding some balance as well. We come to this row, the third one, and we see the Ace of Swords, conflict and defeat, and Paul the Venetian experiencing grace. And he says, share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. Now, we'll start back at the top with the Ace of Swords. The Aces are always great cards, and they often represent energies. I'm just realigning the lens for you because sometimes the back cards are in focus but not the front, so I'm just sharing the focus around a little bit. The Ace of Swords can come as a success but at a cost. Now this card can also often turn up when there is something like a divorce or a finalising of a relationship. Now this can be a business association or corporation as well. So it could be something that you had formed with someone else and it has now got to the point where it is being dissolved or dissolution is occurring. It doesn't mean that's a bad thing. It means that either one of you or both of you had been seeking it and the final papers and documentations are there for signing to put an end to what was previously a conglomeration or appearing up in a relationship mode. It is now parting ways. So it does bode success, and usually for yourself in this realm. I always say it's triumph, but at the cost of another, at the cost of something. You lose something to gain something when this card is around. And then we see beneath conflict and defeat, and we can see this person, almost falling down the stairs in a sort of a bereft way. Now this card usually does indicate that there have been tensions or arguments even between a group of people, often yourself and a few others. And often it means that there will be a separating of the ways, that someone is going to walk away from someone else. Now this can be because you just no longer understand each other or follow the same basic principles or integrity values, which is what we've talked about earlier. These things happen in life, and you just find that people come into your life for a time, season or reason. Oftentimes we have to let people go. It's just the way of life. The more important aspect is how we do it. By letting someone go, you're allowing them to continue their path of what they want to do and who they want to be, and you're also freeing up your own end for the same reasons, and also to allow new people in who you both enjoy and who support yourself and you support them. It's how we go about it, and that's what I was trying to say. It's the words you choose to use. Instead of arguing or trying to prove a point, it's far better to just say, okay, we beg to disagree, and that's fine. I honour and respect your choice just as you should honour and respect mine. So I guess that's it. We'll call it a day. That's the way to go about it, and that's what grace is. And Paul the Venetian says, experience grace. Paul the Venetian also talks about the fact that you may have gifts that are, well worthy of being shared, and this could be in your creative passion in life. Some of you might be wonderful artists or writers or actors or singers, or creating in the business realm or IT technology, or learning all these new fields of work and amazing technology around us. So this card here might even refer up to a new business that is being formed, and you are part of a cooperation or a society that's on the cusp of newness, new developments, especially in the intellectual realm, because that's what the swords denote, intellect and communication in particular. So some of all of this might have even come about from having to move away from previous occupation, or doubts that other people have had about a pathway that you are taking. But success feels as though it is around you, and that some of these people who are falling by the wayside were either, as I said earlier, perhaps they had a different understanding of where things should be going, or how you should be doing it, or how life in general is going or moving. So accepting differences in life is very important. We actually make huge inroads in our understanding when we learn to accept the differences. Every single thing in life has two sides. There is your view and side to it, and there is also another view and side, and so on and so on and so on. So it continues to extend itself out, and it's really wonderful when we can have dialogue and interesting conversation with people who do have different perspectives from ourselves, and we can listen to it and go, well, yeah, okay, so I can see that, because that could lead to this, which could lead to that. And sometimes you surprise yourself by finding your own new amazing awareness from their initial point of view, which might not necessarily have been where you were going yourself. So again, there's a lot of learning in here, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of growth. Body-wise too, I haven't mentioned that yet. I did a little bit with the White Eagle, but I think if we come back to the Hermit, the mental conflict and the balance, it does feel as though you have a little bit of tension and anxiety possibly this month. So some of you could really benefit with meditation or learning some peace and quiet ways of dealing with relieving stress, also balancing your body both diet-wise and exercise-wise, other messages that are coming in. And some of you may even have a small operation that might be pending, which I think will go fine. It will be a good outcome. But it's a busy month for you guys, Cancer. You've got so much sort of happening in the background that I think is really taking you forward as the year progresses. And there's a lot of establishing of new patterns, new outcomes, new modalities, and possibly, yes, new health regimes, new perspectives around a lot of these things as well. So yeah, a big reading in a big month and with lots going on. So I hope you have really enjoyed the reading, and that some of these cards have jumped out and really engaged you and taken your eye and made you ponder upon them a little bit and think, yeah, I'm going to think about that one a little bit more, or explore that opportunity or possibility.